Hello YouTube. I live in a suburb that qualifies for the free NBN fibre to the home upgrade, and I thought I might document the process of how this goes, along with a bit of networking upgrade that I've got to do in the house. I've been here for a couple of years now, and I put a fair bit of networking cable in through the house, but I've decided I might redo it and try and do a slightly better job. Anyway, I'll show you where I'm at the moment, and then what the process will be. Okay, so currently I've got fibre to the curb, so we've got a fibre to copper converter out in the street out there, and then comes through a couple of pits, runs underground, and then comes into the side of the house. NBN have already been out, and they've just checked the conduit running from the street to the house to make sure they can get a drawstring in, which they've done. So that's our existing copper line coming in, and then this one's the one that goes inside the house. From here comes through into the garage. Just got another box here just to divert it, and then the Cat6 cable runs up the wall into the ceiling, and then that conduit just stops on that side of the wall, stops in the ceiling there, and then the copper cable runs, or the Cat6 cable runs inside to where the the NBN NTD box is. I'll show you that. All right, we're in the house now. As you can see, this is a bit of a mess. Our Cat6 cable comes to that Telstra wall plate there, and then goes from the Telstra wall plate into the NBN NTD, network termination device. Then it goes from there into the router, and then into a switch, and then out to other cables throughout the house. As you can see, it was a project that I started and never quite finished. And I've decided that I don't really want all of this equipment in one of those bedrooms, even though it's a spare bedroom. I'm going to put it out into the garage. Okay, so all of this is going to come from here, get moved from here, back out this way, back into the garage. That's where the existing phone line comes in, NBN, and we're going to move it all up onto this wall. On the weekend, I just put a sheet of 3/4 form ply. Just makes it a lot easier to mount all the equipment rather than mounting equipment directly onto the brick. I've got a 6RU rack, basically, so all our network cables are going to come to here and our switch, and that way it's outside, or out in the garage, out of the bedroom. And then when we get the upgrade, I'm going to get the NBN fibre equipment located onto this panel here, and I've also got a new router which I might mount on there as well. And a UPS, so, and you know, other equipment. I'll probably put a 4G router in as well, just as a backup. Anyway, today's job is to put this NBN 25mm conduit, or Telstra conduit as it's called. It just goes to the roof and then just stops just above the wall, and then the cable runs through. I'm actually going to run this conduit from here across the ceiling, or inside the ceiling, and then down onto the form ply. And then when the NBN tech comes to install the internal fibre equipment, they can actually just pull the fibre through the roof, through the conduit, without having to get up in the roof, which should be a little bit nicer for them. So yeah, let's get on to doing that. I'll just show you briefly the conduit that we're going to use. We're going to use NBN 20mm, or they call it NBN 20mm, or Telstra 20mm, and you'll actually see on the marking it says premium PVC 20mm communications conduit. Now, this actual conduit, when you measure it, is about 23mm internal, and external I think it's about 26 or 27mm. You compare this to, say, standard electrical conduit. Now this is 25mm electrical conduit, and you'll find sorry for the camera work, it's 21 internal, 25 external. So the actual rating that they put on the conduit has got nothing to do with the actual physical size of the conduit. Same with the 50mm NBN or Telstra conduit. You find it's much bigger than 50mm internal. It's more like a 63mm conduit. And then also, that's your standard electrical grey conduit. You also get it in orange, heavy duty for underground, but also you can get communications conduit in 25mm. So this 25mm and this 25mm, the electrical and this communications, they both use the same fittings, same couplings, everything's the same size, whereas the NBN and the Telstra conduit is just different. All of the couplings are different sizes to the electrical and the comms stuff. Main difference is comms is white, electrical grey or orange, yeah, that's just a bit of a basic on that. Oh, the other thing is we've got our sweeps. These are all 20mm NBN sweeps, so that's a short sweep, if we can see it. That's a long sweep, so physically much larger sweep, which is better for pulling cables through. You always try to use the long sweeps if you can, but sometimes the short sweeps are all you can fit for a different reason. When I install it inside the roof of the house, I'm not sure whether I'll be able to make the long sweeps work. I'll give it a go, but either way, the fibre they pull in is really easy to pull through, so it shouldn't be a drama. The other thing you can do is use a bending spring. Bending spring you can use to put inside the conduit and put a bend on it, just a short distance. Okay, here we go. I'll just give you a bit of demonstration of the bending spring. Spring goes in and use your knee or something similar, and you can put just a set, and it doesn't keep the conduit. You can put a double set if you need to, and you pull your spring back out. Pretty tricky, eh? Alright, first job, I've got to get rid of that cable out of this conduit, just because I can't connect onto that conduit while there's a cable running through it. Okay, we're up on the roof now. You can see our conduit and cable coming up through there. We'll pull that cable up and get it out of the way. Okay, our Cat 6 is out of the conduit, and I've just dropped it down through a hole and then just put it through to the outside wall. That's a bit of 32mm comms conduit that I core drilled through the brick a while ago, just to make it a bit easier. Reconnect these up and we'll be back online again. They always get shorter and shorter. Okay, hopefully the internet will come back on. And we got sync again, all is good. Alright, there's the Telstra 20mm going up into the roof at the rack end. And I'll put a longer piece of 20mm Telstra up in where it comes in from the outside. Let's get up in the roof and see where we're headed. Okay, here we go. This is where we're headed to. Let's go have a look. Alright, looks like we've had a bit of a win. There's the conduit from the rack end. And here's our conduit. I don't know if you can see that. You can just see it just coming up there. There's our conduit from there. So yeah, I think this will work out all right. Alright, let's see if we can get this conduit into position. Alright, conduit's basically into position as it runs through to here. I might just need to use a bending spring to put a set on that, or more than likely it's so flexible I can probably just bend it around. Actually, I can make it better. This pretty much worked out perfectly. There's the rack where the internal NBN equipment's going. Conduit runs through there, across over that cable tray, and then that's where it comes up from the external wall. Let's go and connect it up. One thing I forgot to mention about the difference between NBN conduit and electrical conduit is NBN conduit is 4.5 metres long. As you can see here, electrical conduit's 4 metres long. For some reason, they just like to be different with everything. And it's a pain in the ass trying to fit your Telstra conduit on your truck, because your conduit holder's normally only 4 metres. It's really hard trying to glue and record at the same time, but we will give it a try and see how we go. And I'll get glue on my hands now. Oh, not working, making a mess. Problem. Oh. There we go, it's in. Alright, let's see what the bottom looks like. Okay, the top's been glued, that's the sweep we just saw. Sort out this bottom end. So we want it about there somewhere, so it's just inside the junction box. Here's the other end, it comes up through the wall, there's it. And there's our other end coming from the outside wall. We've just got to join the two together. How hard can it be? Oh, and don't worry about the sarking, I'll sticky tape that back up after I turn the camera off. And we're done. It's glued all the way through. You'll notice that I glued the conduit. It's probably not really necessary to glue it when it's going through the roof like this. However, you do find that when you're pushing the conduit together, the glue actually acts as a lubricant, and it's heaps easier to push it all the way home if you use glue. Oh, and now to fix the sarking up. Let's do that. And sarking's fixed up. You can barely tell that I was even there. Okay, conduit's through. Runs up, runs through the ceiling, drops down there. Only thing left to do now is put a drawstring in. We can either use a snake or vacuum. I'll probably use a vacuum just to show you that. Let's get a string, put this through this conduit. We need vacuum cleaner, box of string, bread bag, tie on a plastic bag to string, attach hose onto conduit, like so, turn on vacuum, all done. And it'll be a million miles stringing the vacuum now because that went through so quick. Anyway, works pretty good. So this is called Jetline. It's about a 2 kilometre box. It's fairly lightweight, and it just tends to work really, really well. It says you can blow it in with CO2 or an air compressor and that sort of stuff, but I find a vacuum works really well. So just to give you an example, this here's 100mm orange heavy duty conduit. I've used the vacuum to suck a bread bag through that 100mm conduit, and I think the run was about 240 meters long, and you know, it basically sucked the string through in about 30 seconds, probably less, maybe 20 seconds. And then the smaller conduits, it works really well as well. There is a couple of tricks with using the vacuum. When you're going on the bigger conduits, you've got to create sort of a bag out of the bread bag, so that it's sort of more like a balloon, so it sucks it through. And the other thing is, it's best for conduits that you've newly installed, because you don't want water to be in the conduit. If you've got water in the conduit at all, it just bogs the bag down, and it's just not going to work. But a newly installed conduit, yeah, vacuum, it's definitely the trick. Okay, last job. I just came back up and I threw a couple of saddles on the conduit just to sort of stop it from moving around too much. Probably not really necessary, but in case a cable or something catches it later on, you don't want to pull on it and damage it. The Telstra conduit, if I haven't mentioned already, is really crappy quality, so it's easy to damage. Alright, that wraps up my first attempt at a YouTube video. Hopefully it was of interest to somebody. Next video, I might actually put some lights in the ceiling space, because I want to do a few videos up there, and it would be helpful to have some decent lighting. So yeah, I'll see if I can get that done this weekend. We'll see how we go. Alright.